It's time for Stranger Things madness. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I have assembled a 64-team bracket, just like March Madness, which for those who don't know is the college basketball tournament that concludes the season every year. It's in March. It's a bracket with 64 teams, and so I've done the same thing for Stranger Things. There are 4 regions that I'm going to break down in a second with 4 different categories, if you will. And this is going to be determining what my favorite thing from Stranger Things actually is. Before I get into this, though, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below how you would fill this bracket out. In fact, you can fill out your own version of this bracket. I will have one linked down below in a Google Doc or Google Slide so you guys can go download the PDF, print it out, fill out your own Stranger Things bracket, share it with me on Instagram. I'll repost it to my Instagram story. It'll be a fun community thing, especially because there's gonna be a lot of variations here with this bracket, I feel. And of course, subscribe to that notification bell to be notified for all my future videos. Let's get into this. I wanna break this thing down right now. So as you can see, this is the bracket right here. Went all out, 64 teams, just like they do in March Madness. And instead of the regions like, South or Midwest, I have the regions as different Stranger Things categories. So first up, we've got the characters region, then we've got songs, episodes, and moments from the show. It was difficult just to choose the categories. I could have gone with a plethora of others, such as quotes, locations, you name it. I struggled just to get 4 categories, so you can imagine how difficult it's actually gonna be to fill this thing out to completion. I'm gonna go section by section though, and then I will pick the winner of them all. Now, I wanna make it clear that once we have 4 left, and we're down to the final 4, right? My number 1 character, my number 1 song, my number 1 episode, my number 1 moment. Those are special in and of themselves because they signify my favorite of the category they're a part of. Then they're going to go to battle against each other, and that's where it's going to get extremely difficult because comparing like a character to a song, for example, vastly different. I'm just going to see how I'm feeling in the moment when I get there. They all mean a lot to me. If I pick, a song over character, that doesn't mean, oh, I hate that character. Obviously, I love pretty much everything about Stranger Things, right? This is just a fun way to do a bracket, and we'll see what comes out on top. I don't know what that's going to be just yet. Get your bracket printed out now, and feel free to fill it out with me as I go through this thing. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so the first region we're going to fill out is characters. It's the top left one. That's where I always start with my March Madness brackets. Characters. The way I've done this is I took 16 of the most popular characters, the ones that have been around the longest in the show and had the most important role. That means Eddie Munson is not on this list. I initially had him here, but I was like, it would almost feel wrong to have him on there over some characters who've been around since, say, season 2. I seeded them based on like general consensus popularity, but also how big of a role they play in the show and like how prominent of a character they are. So it's somewhat randomized. I didn't think about matchups when I went through this. I just wrote down like 1 through 16, combining their like overall popularity with their importance in the show. So that's where we got these 16 seeds. I say we just get into this thing. First matchup of the Stranger Things bracket. 11, the 1 seed, versus Papa, the 16 seed. Father versus daughter, not really. Look, these two have been connected since season 1, but it's a no-brainer here. I'm taking 11 over Papa. 11, the face of Stranger Things. She's come so far since that first season as a character. Papa, solid, but it was never really even going to be a competition here. Moving on, we've got Lucas versus Nancy. This is the 8 versus 9 matchup. These are always really tough. I think Nancy is a badass, okay? With that shotgun, I wouldn't want to be in her path, all right? She's packing heat, and she's not afraid to mess around. You got Lucas, on the other hand, though. I feel like one of the underappreciated main kids of the show. In fact, I'm going to take Lucas over Nancy here. It's a very tight race for me, but Lucas, especially in season 4, I feel he gets the edge over Nancy. Lucas has some great moments there, and Caleb McLaughlin's acting really is a highlight of season 4 when Max is dying in his arms. Like, that is some of the best acting we've seen, maybe in the entire show so far. Lucas, also just one of the OG main kids. I'm gonna put some respect on his name. I'm taking Lucas over Nancy. The next matchup is the 5 versus 12. For those who don't know, in March Madness, a 12 always beats a 5. It happened twice this year. We've got Mike, the 5 seed, versus Jonathan, the 12 seed. I would say both of these characters are hated by a large part of the fandom. In fact, for me personally, there was a point in time where I really didn't care for either all that much. Now, on my most recent rewatch of the show, I grew a new appreciation for Mike, And I could see Jonathan from, you know, a bit of a different angle. I would say season 4 Jonathan is by far the weakest to me still. I stand by that. Season 4 Mike, kind of weak as well. But when it boils down to it, I look at these two characters, I go, which one is the better character? Which one do I like more? And season 1, Mike is the main kid. Season 2, Mike has a prominent role. In fact, Mike's kind of the brains in season 2, if you think about it. He kind of realizes when he's talking to Will that the whole setup's a trap with the Demodog. So I'm gonna say this is extremely difficult because they both have their highs and lows for me, especially if we're looking at the season 4 versions of them. But I think I have to go with Mike here just because season 1 Mike is like the leader. He's seems like the main kid of the show, so I'm going in a slight margin of victory, Mike over Jonathan. Next, we've got the 4 vs 13 Dustin Henderson versus Vecna. Vastly different characters. Vecna, obviously, the main villain of the show, the man who's been pulling the strings all along, seemingly. We'll see if there are any revelations made in season 5 that sort of flip that script. But for now, I can comfortably say Dustin. He's one of my comfort characters in Stranger Things, Dusty Bun. Not only is he lovable, but he has 2 of the best duos in the show. He's a part of them, right? He's got Steve in season 2 and season 3, and still in season 4, but in season 4, Eddie's introduced, and Eddie is like this older brother figure to Dustin in a way that Steve's not able to be. Not to say that, you know, screw Steve, I think they're both great duos. I would take Steve and Dustin over Eddie and Dustin, but Eddie is like this guiding light for Dustin. He is a role model to him. I feel like he teaches him just positivity and you know, sticking true to who you are. In that one line in volume 2 where Eddie tells Dustin, like, never change Dustin Henderson, that is such a sweet moment. I have to go Dustin here. He is actually my favorite of the main kids. Next, we've got the 6 vs 11 matchup, Max versus Joyce. Love me some Joyce. I think, again, Winona Ryder, all that. She's mother, okay? Right alongside Steve. But Max, especially after season 4, has to take the win here for me. Running up that hill, that moment we'll talk about multiple times later in the episodes and moments tier, so don't you worry. But as a character, losing her brother Billy at the end of season 3 and then coming into season 4, dealing with this trauma, it's such a great character arc for her. Ultimately, she ends up dying for a bit before she's revived, and her relationship with Lucas, to me, is one of the best ships in the show, best couples. Lumax forever. Yeah, I gotta take Max over Joyce here. Next, we've got the 3 vs 14, Steve versus Erica. I'm taking Steve here. Not to say this is a no-brainer. Obviously, you can't spell America without Erica, but give me Steve, the Hair Harrington. You guys know I love him. He's been one of my favorites from day one. In fact, I've said it before. Does it make me toxic that I've liked him since season 1? It might just, but I embrace that.
I don't care about Tina or Uncle Jack's party.
We've only got 2 matchups here for characters. The next one is the 7 seed Will versus the 10 seed Robin. I'm taking the upset here. Robin over Will. In fact, Robin is probably one of my personal favorite characters. She wasn't introduced until season 3, so she was late to the party. But man, Maya Hawke's performance, especially in season 3, rules. She adds this levity to the group, especially as we do head into season 4. And even in season 4, she's great with, you know, Eddie, with Nancy. Her and Steve, one of my favorite dynamics in the show, and she's just such a lovable character. I gotta go Robin over Will. I think Will's gonna have a bigger role in season 5. Post season 5, maybe I look back and say, hey, I should have put more respect on Will, but I gotta go Robin over Will right now. And the last matchup for characters here is gonna be Hopper versus Murray. Murray the Baldigo Bowman, great underrated character, hilarious at times, but you already know Hopper with ease is taking the dub here. The father of Stranger Things, my favorite character potentially. We'll see how the bracket plays out, but Hopper supremacy. All right, let's move on to the next round of characters. We've got some heated matchups here, I'll say that much. First up, we got 11 versus Lucas. 11 the 1 seed versus Lucas the 8 seed. I think 11 is great. She's obviously the face of the show, but in terms of personal preference, I think Lucas is the better character by a hair here. In fact, I am actually going to have Lucas, the 8 seed, advance over 11 in this bracket. Reason being, I just think the season 4 Lucas we get and his relationship with Max carries so much weight to me that I gotta go Lucas over 11, especially in season 4 up 1, the Hellfire Club, when they have like the basketball scene. I love Lucas in that episode, so I gotta go with him. He's a great friend, he's a great boyfriend, great dude all around. I'm going Lucas over 11 by a hair. Next, we've got 2 of the main party members going up against each other, Mike versus Dustin, 2 of the OG kids. It sucks, but I gotta say goodbye to Mike. I'm going Dustin here again. Dusty Bun is gonna make a run in this tournament, guys. He is one of the most lovable characters in this show, and I've said this many times. If they kill him in season 5, I will have to throw hands with the Duffers. It will traumatize not only me, but I assume everyone watching this video. I don't even want to envision that. I think it would also just be too cruel, though. They've already killed Eddie. They took him from him. Like, if one of the kids is gonna die, it better not be Dustin, okay? He's been through enough. I feel like they're setting him up to be our traumatized king in season 5, so let him live, okay? Next, we've got Max versus Steve, by far the most difficult matchup so far in the tournament. I love Max, I wanna make that known. In fact, I love most of these characters, like I've said, but Steve is special to me, and the reason is I was 16 when Stranger Things came out in 2016, and so to watch that season at that age that Steve was canonically, like right around that age, that high school age, you know, I felt like I was able to relate to that character in a sense, especially like by the end of season 1. And so I've always viewed Steve as special to me because I was that age, watching him at that age. And so it was, yeah, it meant a little more to me. And so I feel like I've really grown with Steve as I've gotten older and we've gotten new seasons, the character's gotten older and I've gotten older as well, obviously, but it's special to just feel like I've grown with that character. That's a character truly in all of fiction who just has a really special place in my heart, so I'm gonna move Steve up in the bracket. Next, we've got Robin versus Hopper, another brutal matchup, guys. These are two of my top 5 characters, probably, if I'm being frank. Robin, so underrated, a little late to the party, but Hopper, since season 1, consistently been one of, if not my faves, right alongside Steve. I know I'm setting up an extremely difficult matchup next, but I gotta go Hopper over Robin. I just think Hopper's arc has maybe been the best in the entire show, especially in season 4 when he kind of gets this new lease on life and he feels down in the dumps, like he just hurts everyone he's actually around. Your heart breaks for him and you just want him to get a happy ending with Joyce, so I'm going Hopper in the end. Plus, he might just be the most quotable character in the show. All right, then there were only 4 characters remaining. We've got Lucas versus Dustin at the top here, 2 of the OG kids, but my favorite of the OG kids has always been Dustin. It was always Dustin. I am moving Dustin on to the next round. And then the next matchup, I have my 2 characters that I've always said are my 1A, 1B. They've been tied for my favorite character for as long as I can remember. There were portions at the time where I was like, Steve's my number 1, Hopper's my number 1. It goes back and forth every day. It's like Toy Story 3 and Ratatouille for me when it comes to Pixar. They're, you know, tied, but I gotta pick one right here, right now. And as of today, I believe Hopper is my favorite over Steve, which means I gotta move him on. It's no hard feelings. I love Steve. He means more to me than maybe any other character, but I think Hopper is the best character in the show. And as I've gotten older, I kind of see more, I understand him more, if that makes sense. I adore both characters, I do. But Hopper in season 1 especially is got that Indiana Jones element to him, almost like a Chief Brody at times from Jaws. Like, I just think he's the coolest damn character right alongside Steve. And so it's almost like flip a coin. And in the final round of characters, to move on to the final 4 of the entire bracket, we've got Dustin versus Hopper. My favorite kid in the show versus my favorite adult in the show. Dustin is, again, lovable. Hopper, my favorite. So I gotta move Hopper on here. It's no hard feelings, but Hopper just had a hell of a run. He took down Murray, Robin, Steve, now Dustin. Hopper going to the final 4 from the character region. So there you have it for the character part of this bracket. Next, we're moving into the songs region, and for this, I picked 16 of the most popular songs, some of the most iconic from Stranger Things, and some of just the ones that, you know, were on the big Stranger Things playlist. Obviously, there are way more than 16 Stranger Things songs that are very popular, so this was difficult to sort of trim down. You had to just end up picking 16 at the end of the day, and these are the ones we ended up with, so let's get to it. The first matchup is number 1, Should I Stay or Should I Go, from season 1, obviously, and again in season 2. I expect to hear that at season 5.
Should I stay or should I go?
Going up against number 16, Sunglasses at Night. I just take Should I Stay or Should I Go here. It's really a no-brainer. I think that is the Stranger Things song in many ways. There are a couple others on here that I think could actually take that spot from it, but Should I Stay or Should I Go is going to make a deep run here, I feel. Or will it? So the next matchup is the 8 versus 9, 8 being Never Ending Story.
Turn around, look at what you see.
Obviously, Dustin and Susie sing that. And then we've got number 9, Heroes, which makes more than one appearance in the show. It shows up in season 1, ep 3, Holly Jolly, when Will's body is found. And it shows up at the end of the season 3 finale, the Battle of Starcourt, when the Byers' house is, you know, getting packed up and they're about to move out of town. So I'm gonna say, wow. Oh man, I love me some Neverending Story, but I'm going with the upset here. Give me 9/8. Heroes, the chills in multiple moments really sends that home. I gotta go Heroes here. So Heroes moves on. Now we've got the 5 verse 12. When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die, which makes 2 appearances in the show at the end of season 1 when Will is found in the Upside Down by Hopper and Joyce. And again in season 4 when Rest in Peace, Eddie Munson bites the dust. Will it appear in season 5? I don't know. We'll see. And that going up against the 12 seed Rock You Like a Hurricane. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. This is actually the song that plays in season 2 when Billy's introduced. I think When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die has really just the ability to get the waterworks going. So that should probably advance here. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's something about Rock You Like a Hurricane that's so hype that fits the Billy intro. I want to pick it. I want to pick it. But I think I would get massacred in the comments, kind of like Hawkins Lab hinting at an episode that could be talked about later. But look, I'm going When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die just because of the ability that song has to make the waterworks flow, and it elevates both scenes that it's used in. So I'm going to go When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die over Rock You Like a Hurricane, but it's really closer than you might expect. If I were in the car, I'm blasting Scorpions Rock You Like a Hurricane all day. Next, we got the 4 verse 13, 4 being Master of Puppets. Chrissy, this is for you. Anyway, badass as hell. Then we got the 13 seed Girls on Film. Girls on Film. So sorry for your ears. I try. I love to sing. I can't. I was born to sing in another life. Girls on Film, kind of a banger, I can't lie, but Master of Puppets, I remember listening to that ad nauseum after Stranger Things, and it's just so badass. I think I go Master of Puppets here by a hair. The 6 versus 11 matchup presents us with You Don't Mess Around With Jim and Africa by Toto. I am partial to Hopper. You guys know he's my favorite character, as you saw him win the character region a second ago. So I gotta go You Don't Mess Around With Jim, but Africa by Toto is a banger. You Don't Mess Around With Jim, it plays a couple times in the show. It's in season 2 when Hopper is cleaning up the cabin, his cabin with 11. And then it plays again in season 3 when he's happy after, you know, confronting Mike, tapping his steering wheel as he drives. Africa by Toto plays in season 1 when Nancy and Steve are together. So I'm gonna go You Don't Mess Around With Jim. You don't pull the mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. Anyway, I caught up sometimes. 3 verse 14. Separate Ways versus Dream a Little Dream of Me, which plays a very prominent role in the Creel House in season 4. The number 3 seed Separate Ways is taking the win here. That's going to make one hell of a run, I'm not going to lie. I was listening to it yesterday. I was going for a walk. I was blasting the Separate Ways remix, and I almost elevated in the air. I was like, whoa, this is insane. Separate Ways, Journey, the remix, it's the trailer song, so it has that going for it. And Stranger Things trailer songs just hit different. I'm going Separate Ways here. Next, we've got the 7 verse 10. Material Girl by Madonna plays in season 3 when we're montaging through Starcourt. Verse 10, Every Breath You Take by The Police, which plays at the Snowball in season 2. I am going with an upset here. 10/7. Material Girl's a banger, don't get me wrong, because we are living in a material world and I am a material girl. Every Breath You Take, it has the emotional weight, I feel, and it just hits, especially the way it's used in season 2 when everyone's dancing. There's some really, sweet moments that occur while that song is playing. So I'm going Every Breath You Take here at an upset. And the last matchup in songs is the 2 seed Running Up That Hill versus the 15 seed Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters theme rocks. It's a banger. No one's denying that.
Wait, hold up the proton blaster.
But Running Up That Hill might just be the most iconic song in all of Stranger Things. It's become synonymous with the show, and the song came out in the 80s. It had this revival because of Stranger Things, and now whenever people hear it, the first thing they're gonna think of is Max, Running Up That Hill, baby. I can go in with Running Up That Hill, no questions about it. Next, we've got the 1 seed Should I Stay or Should I Go versus the 9 seed Heroes. And I know that I kind of joked earlier. I was like, should I stay or should I go, making a deep run? Let's be real here. Heroes is the better song. Heroes is associated with the more emotionally impactful moments in the show. I think of the end of season 3 specifically, and of course Holly Jolly. The way that song is inserted, it just takes the show to another level. Should I Stay or Should I Go? Iconic. It's, again, the OG Stranger Things song. But Heroes, the use of it in multiple seasons, especially in those impactful moments, it gets the edge for me. That yell. Next, we've got When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die versus Master of Puppets. Again, you've got emotion versus hype here, and I'm going with hype this time around. Master of Puppets is such a banger, and the way that Eddie shreds that guitar, I can't get enough of it. It rules. It rules. Give me Master of Puppets. Rip Eddie. Next, we've got You Don't Mess Around with Jim versus Separate Ways. I love me some Hopper. You don't mess around with Jim. It slaps. But Separate Ways, it's almost like an out-of-body experience when you hear it. Especially in that trailer the first time I watched it. It was like, God, and little did we know it would come back to play again in the actual show when they are in the RV. Oh, chills. I gotta go Separate Ways here. The chills, man, the chills. And then in songs, the last one in this round is Every Breath You Take versus Running Up That Hill. As much as Every Breath You Take is a sweet song that's used in a sweet moment, Running Up That Hill, hearing that in the show for the first time, especially in season 4, Ep 4, Dear Billy, it was transcendent, dare I say. It was this out-of-body experience. Running Up That Hill moves on, setting up a matchup in the next round of two behemoths, two titans in the song category from season 4 specifically. Getting near the end of songs here, we've got Heroes versus Master of Puppets. Master of Puppets is a certified banger, and it's such a cool moment seeing Eddie finally shred the guitar in the season 4 finale. But Heroes, the emotional impact, the chills, the tears, all of it, I'm going Heroes to the finals of songs. Give me Heroes over Master of Puppets. And then we've got the battle of season 4. Separate Ways by Journey, Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush. Both get their own epic remixes in the show, and the Running Up That Hill epic remix that plays when they defeat Vecna, and like Steve and Robin are throwing Molotov cocktails at Vecna, Hopper's fighting a Demogorgon. I'll never forget hearing that for the first time. I still listen to it like on YouTube only. It's not on Spotify for some reason. I hate that it isn't, but I'll listen to it when I like run or walk. Separate Ways, on the other hand, comparable. It's the trailer song, gets you hyped. It has the RV moment, the build up to the final battle, and I honestly, when I think of season 4, obviously Running Up That Hill comes to mind. I think it's the song from season 4. But if I were to listen to the two songs, which one do I want to listen to not remixed? Separate Ways, because it's still a banger. Running Up That Hill is too, but Separate Ways, specifically the build-up and also the actual lyrics, the way they play into that trailer with season 4 being the season where all of our main character groupings are essentially split up. You got Hopper in Russia, Joyce and Murray going to find him. Then you got the Callie crew, the Hawkins crew, like everyone's gone their separate ways. Yeah, this is so hard. I almost just need to straight up flip a coin because there's no right answer here. I know that a lot of you are probably like running up that hill with ease, but to me, Separate Ways, I think, deserves a lot of respect. And you know, I feel in my bones that there's just something about that Separate Ways remix that I listen to frequently, and Running Up That Hill, it's special. But you know what? Running Up That Hill might have its moment later in this video, as we're gonna talk about Dear Billy and maybe a moment associated with the song. I go Separate Ways here. I go Separate Ways here by Journey. It's just the trailer song alone, oh my goodness. I'll never forget the first time I watched it. I'm going Separate Ways in the upset, 3-2. Two songs remain, Heroes versus Separate Ways. It's tempting to go Heroes here. It's tempting to go Heroes here because that song is so powerful when it's used in the show, but I gotta go Separate Ways. I gotta go Separate Ways. It is the song from season 4 right alongside Running Up That Hill. That season 4 soundtrack's gonna be nearly impossible to top, but I'm sure the Duffers can do it. The way it's used in the trailer, the way it's used in the build up to the finale, it is one of the most chill-inducing pieces of music out there and makes me want to get on my feet, so I'm going Separate Ways over Heroes to the final 4. The next region is episodes, which might be the hardest yet. Songs had its, fair share of tough matchups, as did characters, but episodes, really, because you're looking at anywhere from 45 to 50 minutes to like 2.5 hours of Stranger Things to compare. So it's very, very tough. And I gotta make it clear, the way I seeded these was unbiased. I went to IMDb and I found the 16 highest rated episodes of Stranger Things, and I rated them in order of their star rating by users. So yeah, that's how these are ordered. No personal bias here. Number 1 is gonna be The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, the highest rated episode of Stranger Things, against Papa. Funnily enough, these two episodes fall right next to each other. This is season 4 ep 7 versus season 4 ep 8. Papa is the forgotten episode of Stranger Things 4. I feel it's sandwiched between two all-time eps. Papa still has the whole 11 taking down the helicopter scene. There's a lot of great stuff there, but I'm going The Massacre at Hawkins Lab. That's really the episode that's got the entire revelation with Vecna being 01, also being Henry Creel. It recontextualizes the show as we know it and gives us just a whole new look at Stranger Things through this one episode. It changes everything. It's important, it's impactful. I'm going Massacre over Papa. And I'm not going to write out the whole Massacre at Hawkins Lab thing. I'm just going to put Massacre when I move it on. Next matchup is 8 versus 9. We got The Spy versus The Bathtub. The Spy is in season 2. It's the episode right before The Lost Sister, episode 6, and it culminates with like the Demodogs coming up into Hawkins Lab. You've got Steve fighting Demodogs in this episode. A lot of great moments. The Bathtub is the penultimate episode of season 1. Has its moments to shine for sure, but I'm going The Spy here. I just think Steve versus the Demodogs paired with that epic ass ending. It's basically the penultimate episode leading into a 2-part finale if you want to view it that way. If you exclude The Lost Sister, I'm going The Spy over The Bathtub. Next matchup is 5 versus 12. And let me tell you, there's going to be no 12 over 5 here. As much as I love me some Holly Jolly, it's the 3rd episode of the show where Heroes plays at the end, and it's where Will's fake body is found. The Battle of Starcourt is truly special. The fact that it's only the 5th highest rated episode is insanity. Give me the Battle of Starcourt on a potential deep run here in this tournament. Just the final showdown with Billy sacrificing himself, Hopper dying, the letter being read by 11. It's too powerful here. It's one of the best episodes of the entire show. Next, we've got 4 versus 13, The Gate versus The Monster. The Gate is the season 2 finale. I don't really need to say much else here. The Monster is a solid episode from season 1. She's our friend and she's crazy. That episode by like The Quarry, that's that episode from season 1. But The Gate, fantastic season finale. I mean, a great scene with Hopper and 11 driving in a car there. Obviously, the gate gets closed by 11 there in badass fashion, but you've also got like funny moments like with, you know, Max driving the car and Steve waking up all woozy in the back seat. Like The Gate, it's one of the best episodes. There's a lot of highly rated season 2 episodes, so I think it's funny consensus. If you ask most people, season 2 is their least favorite season. It's my least favorite, but there are a lot of highly rated episodes from that season on this list, which I find fascinating. It ends on a really high note. Like the final 3, if we go 6, 8, 9, if we exclude 7, which is Lost Sister, that's one hell of a run for Stranger Things. So give me The Gate over The Monster. Next, we've got 6 v 11, The Mind Flayer versus The Body. The Body is the 4th episode of season 1. I was honestly shocked to see that this one had made this high of a rating. I think season 1 scores might be a bit inflated, if I'm being honest. Not to say that it's a bad season. I think it's one of the best, and many people would argue it's the best season of the show. The Mind Flayer is the penultimate episode of season 2, and that's where 11 pulls up at the Byers' house at the very end. It's filled with awesome moments. It's where we lose Bob. And so, of course, I am moving the Mind Flayer on. Season 2, it's got 3 episodes moved on now. So as much as people are like, oh, season 2's trash, which I have never said, by the way, I just think it's my least favorite, maybe I need to reevaluate that because there are some bangers in that season. Number 3 seed, The Upside Down versus number 14, Dig Dug. 3 is the season 1 finale. Dig Dug is one of the episodes from season 2. It's, I believe, the 5th episode. Solid episode, but The Upside Down is one of the best episodes of the show for a reason. I'm moving the season 1 finale, The Upside Down, on. That episode could have ended the entire show as we know it. The final shot of, you know, the Byers family eating, and it kind of just pans out of the window with it snowing. Like, that's a fantastic way to end the show, but you also had the conclusion of pretty much every major story arc. Steve and Nancy end up together, but Jonathan still gets a camera from them for Christmas. You've got Hopper leaving Eggo waffles out in the woods. It concludes beautifully, but they obviously ended up continuing the story. Give me The Upside Down. The next matchup is 7 v 10, The Piggyback versus The Sauna Test. I was astounded to see The Piggyback rated this low. This is the season 4 finale, 2.5 hour long episode. I don't know what people's issues with it were. You know, to me, it's one of the best episodes of the show, no doubt about it. We've got Master of Puppets here, Eddie's death here, the epilogue filled with moments like Dustin and Wayne Munson crying over Eddie, the Stranger Things orchestral theme playing at the end as 11 and company look out at the hillside while the Upside Down like bleeds into reality. Hopper and 11 reunion is here. You've got the whole I love you speech from Mike to 11 here. The freaking epic remix of running up that hill when Hopper fights the Demogorgon. Why is this episode the 7 seed? I don't know. It feels like theft. The Sauna Test is one of the best episodes of season 3. It's where they lock Billy in the sauna. 11 like fights him. It's at the pool. It's like really the best episode to that point in season 3. It's the 4th episode, but I'm going The Piggyback here, and I don't know how the hell it is a 7 seed. That feels wrong. And the last matchup in this first round, 4 episodes, is 2 seed Dear Billy versus 15 seed The Bite. Dear Billy is one of the best episodes, not only of Stranger Things, but of TV that I've ever seen. It's moving on. The Bite, don't get me wrong, I still like, obviously. It's the penultimate episode of season 3. There's some great moments. It sets up the finale wonderfully. But Dear Billy is an all-time episode of television, so it's got to move on. All right, now we got the next round of episodes. We've got The Massacre at Hawkins Lab versus The Spy. Again, The Spy, Very good episode of season 2, but the Massacre at Hawkins Lab is special. It's going to make a run for a reason here. Give me Massacre just because of the Vecna reveal alone, honestly. Then we got the Battle of Starcourt versus the Gate. Season 3 finale versus Season 2 finale. You guys know I'm partial to Season 3, but I really do believe the Battle of Starcourt is one of the best episodes of Stranger Things. The Gate, also in that conversation. I'll hear you out on that. But Battle of Starcourt, the Hopper death paired with Eleven reading that letter and the Byers moving on. It's another one of those finales that could have ended the show as we know it. I am moving the Battle of Starcourt on because it's the most emotional I get when I watch Stranger Things. No other episode has made me cry that hard. Give me the Battle of Starcourt. All right, so the next matchup is the Mind Flayer versus the Upside Down. The Upside Down being the season 1 finale, the Mind Flayer being the penultimate episode of season 2. This is difficult for me because, again, that Mind Flayer ep ends on such a high with Eleven's return, throwing the Demodog through the Byers' house. With the Upside Down, it could have ended the show. It was a perfect finale. Everything brought to a close in that episode, from the Stancy Jancy situation at the time to Hopper just, continuing about his life, but leaving Eggos in the woods, hinting that maybe Eleven could be alive one day. Will coughs something up in the sink, and briefly it's like flashing him in the Upside Down, and then he just goes back out like nothing happened, and he's eating family dinner with the Byers as the camera pans out. It could have ended the show, right? I am going to move that episode on because I am a sucker for finales, and I think that, again, effectively could have ended Stranger Things, but the Mind Flayer is a very underappreciated episode, I feel. And the last one for the second round of episodes is going to be the Piggyback, the season 4 finale versus Dear Billy, another season 4 episode. So we got a battle of season 4 here. We had a season 4 showdown in the songs region. I am going to say here we're having a battle again. Look, the Piggyback, fantastic finale. But Dear Billy, you've got the Max running up that hill moment where she escapes Vecna. You've also got the California storyline one-take shootout at the Byers. That one moment of Max running up that hill carries a lot of weight for me. And you've also got the whole Victor Creel backstory at Penhurst in this ep. Again, I listed off some of the all-time moments from the Piggyback, but I just believe that Dear Billy is the better episode at the end of the day. It's like the all-time episode of Stranger Things to me, maybe. Really, it could be. So I'm gonna move Dear Billy past the Piggyback. You could argue Dear Billy is the best episode of the entire show. The Piggyback, incredible finale, but Dear Billy, special stuff, guys. In the next round, we've got the Massacre at Hawkins Lab, the 1 seed, versus the Battle of Starcourt, the 5 seed. I believe, in my heart of hearts, the Massacre of Hawkins Lab is a fantastic episode. However, the Battle of Starcourt from season 3 should be, to me, maybe the #1 rated episode of the show. The emotional impact, the fact that it could have served as the series finale, brings everything to a close. We lose Hopper at the time. Obviously, he's not dead, but the moment of his letter being read by Eleven is maybe my favorite scene in Stranger Things. I am moving the Battle of Starcourt on past the #1 seed, the Massacre at Hawkins Lab. Crazy to some, but I'll do it. I will stand tall in my belief that the Battle of Starcourt takes the win here. And what will face the Battle of Starcourt in the finals? Will it be the Upside Down? Will it be Dear Billy? I love the season 1 finale again, another one of those finales that could have effectively ended the show, but with Dear Billy, there are just generational moments. It's like you're experiencing an out-of-body experience in Dear Billy when Max is running up that hill. I'm going Dear Billy to the finals to face off against the Battle of Starcourt. And in the episode's final, we've got the season 3 finale versus season 4 ep 4. It's the Battle of Starcourt versus Dear Billy. Dear Billy has maybe the best moment in the show. We'll talk about moments next, but Battle of Starcourt as a complete episode, to me, is the best in Stranger Things. I am moving that on to the final 4 with the chance to win the whole damn tournament. Give me the Battle of Starcourt, and for the sake of your poor old dad, keep the door open 3 inches. Now we're moving into the final region of the bracket, which is moments. This was another extremely difficult one. There are way more than 16 moments in Stranger Things that I absolutely adore, but I tried to pick some of the most iconic, memorable moments from the show from various seasons that, give people chills or just like memorable or instantly recognizable as, oh yeah, that's a big Stranger Things moment. I seeded them randomly as possible. There's no favoritism or bias at play here. I just said, what is the best moment? What's the least of the best? I don't know. There are a lot of moments that barely missed the cut here, but let me know again in the comments and fill out as you're going what you picked on this bracket. The first matchup's gonna be Max running up that hill, the 1 seed, versus Steve versus Demodogs. Again, a season 2 versus season 4 moment. Max running up that hill is gonna make a deep run here. I'm just gonna say it up front. It's the 1 seed for a reason. It is an out-of-body experience. It's been all over social media, that one clip of her evading Vecna. It's beautiful. It is so well done. It is like one of the crowning jewel moments of Stranger Things. As cool as it is to see Steve twirl his bat and fight some Demodogs at night, give me Max running up that hill. The next matchup's going to be the 8 versus 9. Will's body is found in season 1 ep 3 Holly Jolly versus Robin comes out to Steve in season 3. As well done as the fake Will body being found is, with, you know, heroes playing,
It's not Will. It can't be.
I think the Robin Steve scene is one of my faves in the entire show. So well written. The way that the score kicks in right after when Steve just accepts Robin immediately, no questions asked, like, and they just have such a tight bond moving forward. I'm gonna go Robin and Steve scene over Will's body found. That is just one of my favorite, sweetest scenes in Stranger Things.
She sounds like a Muppet giving birth.
The 5 seed is going to be Steve hitting the bat spin in season 1 when he comes into the Byers house to fight the Demogorgon versus the sauna test from episode 4 of season 3, where Billy and Eleven have this showdown. As cool as the sauna test is, I have to go the Steve bat spin. The twirl he does, if you weren't Team Steve already, that made you Team Steve, all right? That is maybe his coolest moment, and he's had some damn cool ones over the course of the show. Give me the Steve bat spin. The 4 seed is Elle pulling up at the Byers house. This is in season 2, ep 8, when she arrives in style. And then you've got 13, She's Crazy, which is at the Corey, another 11 moment where Dustin's like, she's our friend and she's crazy. Great moments, both very iconic for 11, but I'm going when she pulls up at the Byers house because of the way it's shot. Everyone is in the Byers house, every character, you know, got their weapon. Lucas has a slingshot, Steve has his bat, and then the Demodog gets sent through the window, and enter 11, we pan up to reveal her. Truly the stuff of legends, one of her most iconic moments, so give me that. The 6th seed is gonna be Master of Puppets. Chrissy, this is for you, the moment where Eddie shreds it. Verse Billy confronts 11. This is in the 6th episode of season 3, E Pluribus Unum. It's when Billy, in retrospect, Vecna is actually speaking through Billy, and Billy's like, all this time we've been building it. We've been building it for you.
All this time we've been building it. We've been building it for you.
Chilling moment, the music they use there, it's not an original piece of music from Stranger Things, it's actually a pre-existing piece of music, but it gives me chills. It really shows how villainous Vecna is through Billy, and the scene's been elevated by season 4. I'm going Master of Puppets still. Actually, hold up. This is such a tough call. No, I can't go against Master of Puppets, I don't think. The Billy confronting 11 though, hold on. Master of Puppets has become so iconic. It's really difficult. I want to move the Billy confront Elle scene on because I think it might actually be the better scene, but that's really tough. Really, really tough. I know that Master of Puppets is the higher seed. I know that Eddie shredding it's iconic. But Master of Puppets, the song, already had its time to shine. Billy confronting 11 could be one of the coolest scenes in the show in retrospect because of the knowledge we gained in season 4, so I'm gonna move that on in an upset. One of the biggest upsets of the bracket so far. Big upset there. Moving on to the next matchup, we've got defeating Vecna versus Hopper and Elle reunion. Hopper and Elle reunion is the end of season 4. It's when Hopper and 11 reunite. Very sweet moment. In season 4 as well as defeating Vecna. This is the Running Up That Hill epic remix where, you know, Hopper's fighting a Demogorgon. That already kind of moves it on. And then you've got Steve and Robin like throwing Molotov cocktails at Vecna. It's such a well done scene with different important things happening to attack Vecna in the hive mind that I am going to put defeating Vecna as the winner of this matchup. Next, we got 2 more season 4 moments. There's a lot of those here for a reason. We've got the Rainbow Room No versus Separate Ways in the RV. The Rainbow Room No is basically the culmination of the big reveal that Henry Creel is Vecna 01, and 11's like, no. And she sends him, you know, through the wall. It's a badass moment. No. That's a fantastic scene. I'm kind of counting like that whole like monologue that Jamie Campbell-Bower gives. But the Separate Ways RV moment, the build up to the finale of season 4, I'm taking that. Separate Ways is one of the best songs used in Stranger Things. You've also got just the hype and build up of everyone in the RV gearing up for one final battle until season 5. I'm going Separate Ways with the RV here in an upset. And the last of this first round for moments is going to be Hopper's Lighter versus the Snowball. As sweet as the Snowball is, it's got some great songs that are played, and it's like a nice little way to cap off season 2.
Come on, let's go.
Good.
That's good, yeah.
Hopper's letter being read by 11 is that moment. It's moving on easily.
For the sake of your poor old dad, keep the door open 3 inches.
In the next round of moments, we've got Max running up that hill versus Robin coming out to Steve. As impactful as that moment is and really sort of sets Robin and Steve on this great path of friendship, Max running up that hill is different. It's built different, guys. I could watch that scene on YouTube any day of the week and want to run through a damn brick wall, you know? So it's moving on. Max running up that hill. Next, we've got the Steve Batspin versus Elle pulling up at the Byers house. This one might be biased. I'm going on upset here, Steve Batspin. It's the iconic Steve shot, and him running into that house is the moment in his life where he made the decision, hey, I need to help out here. And that's really what set him on the path to being the lovable Steve we all know today. So I gotta go Steve Batspin for the impact. Next, we've got Billy confronting Eleven in season 3 versus the defeating Vecna scene where Hopper fights the Demogorgon. I got to take defeating Vecna here. The Running Up That Hill remix. It's called like the Totem remix on YouTube for some reason, not on Spotify. Makes me sick to my stomach. I gotta take that. Just the use of Running Up That Hill paired with every character fighting their big, you know, obstacle, and it's the culmination of the season. It's fantastic. It's so well done, well edited, well shot. I gotta go defeating Vecna. And then we've got the Separate Ways RV scene, the build up to the finale, the 10 seed versus the 2 seed, Hopper's letter being read. Hopper's letter being read, guys, it hits different. The tears get going. I gotta move that on. Getting near the end here, we got Max running up that hill versus the Steve Batspin. As much as I want Steve to go to the finals here, Max running up that hill is that moment from Stranger Things. You can't even deny it. It transcends just Stranger Things. It's become iconic everywhere. I'm moving Max running up that hill on. And then we've got defeating Vecna versus Hopper's letter. Hopper's letter is moving on. I know the defeating Vecna running up that hill remix is sick, but Hopper's letter is maybe the most emotional moment in the entire show. It's facing off against Max running up that hill. And in the finals of moments, you've got Max running up that hill versus Hopper's letter being read by Eleven. As much as I adore Hopper's letter being read, the moment in which Max gets away from Vecna and is sprinting to the light, while in the real world she's elevating as Dustin, Lucas, and Steve look on, that is not only pulse pounding and exhilarating, but truly is an adrenaline rush. I gotta go with that. I was on my feet like I was watching the end of a sports game or just like a life or death moment. I almost blacked out watching it the first time. It was that insane. Max running up that hill is going to the Final Four. Now we're in the Final Four with only 4 remaining. We've got my favorite character being Hopper, my favorite song being Separate Ways, my favorite episode, Battle of Starcourt, my favorite moment, Max running up that hill. Nothing can be taken away from any of those. Now they're going head-to-head to see what the outright best Stranger Things related thing is for me, and it's going to be extremely difficult to pick this. There's no getting around it. Whatever wins, it's truly built different. It is the thing that I love most about Stranger Things, I guess, right? This is a lot of pressure. First, on the left side of the Final Four, we've got Hopper the character versus Separate Ways the song. That Separate Ways song is something I can listen to any day. It can get me hyped. I can think back to the season 4 era. I can apply it to anything in life. So it's always going to be around. But Hopper is a character, my favorite character in the show. His journey is inspirational. He is quotable. I think of him often when I'm in my daily life, just in mannerisms or things I'll do or say. I'm like, Hopper, He is my favorite character, and because of that almost relationship I feel I've developed with the character, Hopper is going to the championship for me over Separate Ways. All the Stranger Things music rocks, literally, but Hopper to the finals just feels right. And then on the other side of the bracket, episode versus moments, Battle of Starcourt, the season 3 finale, versus moments, Max running up that hill. The Max running up that hill moment is powerful stuff, truly. In fact, it's like the moment of Stranger Things when I look back on it. In the Battle of Starcourt, you got Hopper's letter being read in there. So it's kind of a rehash of a previous moment matchup in the last little section of the bracket. When it comes to Battle of Starcourt, I could watch that episode any day and never get tired of it. You've got so many epic moments in Starcourt Mall, so many quotes, all that. But look, Max running up that hill has become the moment from Stranger Things. Like, if I wanted to sell this show to someone, I might show them that moment, that scene out of context, to sell them on this show. I have to go Max running up that hill because of it. It is unforgettable. I will never forget the first time I watched that. I almost, again, blacked out. It was such an out-of-body experience. So I am moving that on to the finals, where it will face off against Hopper, a character versus a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, in our championship of the Stranger Things Film Stocked Madness bracket, I've got Hopper versus Max running up that hill, a character versus an unforgettable, iconic moment. This is difficult, I won't lie, because I could go, what do I feel in this moment? What do I think long term? And honestly, I think it boils down to this. Hopper's my favorite character. I think that he represents everything I love about Stranger Things. but the Max running up that hill moment not only is a great moment in the show, but a moment in time that was unforgettable. You had to be there to experience it, but I truly boil it down to this. If I want to pitch Stranger Things to someone and have a scene that encapsulates the emotion, the music, the intensity, the aesthetic, all of that of the show, I think I would show them running up that hill, that scene, that moment, because you've got an immediate emotional investment with this girl running from this evil demonic figure in Vecna. The soundtrack would sell people that, you know, oh, they got 80s music here, what's this? And then just the investment. You're rooting for her to get out of there. I think the winner of this bracket, as much as I love Hopper, and again, he's my favorite character, that's evident. The Max running up that hill moment sort of encapsulates what Stranger Things is. If I could bottle up the emotions and feelings I get when I think about Stranger Things, when I watch the show, the Max running up that hill moment is like the culmination of that. It's the epitome of Stranger Things to me, why I love it. I will go Max running up that hill to win the Stranger Things bracket. It is the moment from the show. It is something I would try and pitch Stranger Things to people with if they needed to be sold. It's that special, and to me, it is Stranger Things. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Stranger Things bracket has come to an end. This was a behemoth to film, likely to edit also. So who knows how long this video could be, but did you print a bracket out and fill it out with me? Let me know if you did. Post a picture of it to your Instagram. I will repost it to my story. But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this. March Madness, obviously, in the air. It felt fitting to do something with Stranger Things also. But a Stranger Things bracket, what a good time. What a fun time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you filled out a bracket on your own. Share it with me. And of course, hit that like button. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. Be on the lookout for more videos coming soon. And if you like bracket-style content, I might do some more with other movie-related things soon. So be on the lookout. Let me know your suggestions down below. But that's going to do it for the Stranger Things Film Stocked Madness. Thank you guys for following along. It was a long video, I know. Lots of good things coming soon, so be on the lookout. And until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.